Hey everyone, today I'm going to be walking you through one of my favorite recipes, a simple barbacoa with some chuck beef roast, or pot roast. And yeah, this is one of my girlfriend's favorite recipes. I usually do a guacamole and a sauteed vegetable and a rice with this back before keto. I'll also be doing like a chili lime Brussels sprout, which I'll show you. I got guacamole still, which is still keto friendly. I mean, I won't make a video for that or I can, I'll have to decide. And then I may or may not make a jicama slaw to go with this because I also have a mahi mahi that I'm going to make. But in any case, I'm going to start out with just a barbacoa today. So I'm going to take a little bit of cilantro. I'm using this mainly for my guacamole and my Brussels sprouts later, but I'm going to take a couple of these leaves. Got a white onion. I'm going to use about half of this. Whole clove of garlic. Some of my fake brown sugar, the swerve stuff. Rum, simply because this is cheaper than the tequila at the moment. I don't want to buy a big bottle of tequila. Basically, I just need a dark liquor for this, for deglazing and a little bit of background flavor. Some bottled lime juice is fine. This is going into a broth sauce mixture. I'm just going to need fresh lime juice like what I would need for like the veggies or for the guacamole. My equipment for this, I'll have a crock pot later, but then just a little, whatever mixture you have. This is the bullet. Salt and pepper for seasoning the meat itself. Some cumin as a seasoning. A lot of tomato paste and a whole can of chipotles and adobo. Some oregano leaves. Some beef broth. And then I'll be tossing a couple things of clove. I won't be mixing this in the mixer because it'll probably get caught, and also it'll just break up into little pieces that'll get intermixed with your shredded beef and again disturb the mouth. So as per usual, I'm going to start with the veggie aspect. So I'm just, all that garlic is going in there. Gotta cut the ends off my onion. And for those of you that aren't familiar, most of us are familiar with barbacoa as beef, from Chipotle or other Mexican places. The word in Spanish is literally where barbecue is derived from. The typical Mexican tradition is actually using goat, and is usually cooked in a pit in the ground, wrapped in banana leaves and whatnot. But yes, this little chopped garlic, this chopped onions being set aside for garnishes. I'm doing a bigger, rougher chop because that's just gonna go in this mix. I have a baggie set aside. Chuck in a couple sprigs of my cilantro leaves. Not even gonna bother chopping this. You can do stem and everything. Remember, stem is flavor. There's that. I'm gonna get as much as I can in this before I add liquid. Some oregano. Some lime juice to help move things along. A little bit of rum is going into the mix directly. This is the scary part. A whole can of adobos, and that is why I use brown sugar in this. The adobos are a rich, smoky, and spicy flavor. A whole can is pretty spicy, but the brown sugar will help mellow it out a little bit. Let's see. I'll do a little bit of of salt. Actually, no, I won't, because I have beef base going into this, and beef base is inherently salty. I'm going to be adding a lot of water to this, at least, maybe not to this part, but into the mixture that's going into the crock pot itself. This will be a broth or a sauce. Okay, this whole little can of tomato paste, this is going to, like I said, is going to get thinned out greatly. And I'm going to try and see if this will go. It may or may not. Turn my skill on over there to get ready for the beef. And you are looking for a nice homogeneous color. Pretty good right now. A little spicy. Add the brown sugar. There's probably about a quarter cup's worth. I'm going to add a little water right now. Okay. That is about what we're looking for. I'm going to add a lot more liquid though. And then but now I'm going to add the liquid later, because what I'm going to try and do is, after I get my meat browned up, this is going to go in the skillet as well to get some browning. So this will be set aside for the moment. Now we're finally onto some meat. Now I'm not going to trim any of the stuff off of this pot roast meat, because fat and connective tissue is flavor. And as this slow cooks, I'll be able to separate the beef from the fat and all these tissues you see, all the white. Now I'm cutting this into quarters at least, because I also, as per usual, want to maximize surface area. Okay. So I'm going to go wash my hands, pat this dry, and then season it, and we can get it going. I can get that dry now. It actually came out pretty dry from its package. And I think I've mentioned this before, but padded dry proteins sear better and take on seasonings better. Alright, wash hands. Get the simple seasoning of some cumin. pepper. And some salt. Let's bring this on over to here. Pan is hot. Nice sizzling. And I'll only be able to do 3 pieces at one time because it is more important to not crowd your plate. And crowd your skillet. Reduce heat a little bit. Season the back half with some salt, pepper, and cumin as well. And this is going to go for at least a minute before I try flipping it. Going to keep out the cumin in case I need to add flavor to mix a little bit still. I will put my other stuff away though. I think I can rotate. You see, raw, nice and brown. Other side. Nice and brown and steak-like looking. This isn't a steak cut, keep in mind. And you're going to repeat. So I'll bring you back in a couple minutes when I'm at the about to take these out for the final time. Alright everyone, all my beef has been about seared off. That was 7 minutes or so to rotate everything. And then this is going to go in my crock pot for a second. I still got my heat going here. I'm about to deglaze this skillet with maybe a shot's worth of rum. Because I'm aiming for is to get up all these little drippings from the bottom of my skillet. That is beef flavor there. So I'm reduce this heat a little bit. And then add in all this tomato pasty stuff. See, a lot of crock pot recipes you'll see on the internet just call for you to chuck things in like raw, unbrowned, which is okay. It gets it done because a lot of part of the crock pot is to make cooking simple. Like you have a pot roast or a corned beef ready for you when you get home, and all you had to do was chuck it in and just do it for breakfast at the start of your day. But there's a lot of missed opportunities for adding flavor when you do it like that way. I'm also adding a little bit more oregano and some cumin to this. And basically, I'm aiming just to get a little bit of browning on this tomato sauce as well. It all needs to be in here for a little bit. Maybe like up to 3 or 4 minutes or so. And also, like I said earlier, I'm going to take this same container, fill it with water, and add at least this much water to this paste. Because otherwise, my beef will never cook that easily in this thick of a sauce. So here you go. It's starting to bubble up, come to a boil. So I'm going to turn off this heat in a moment. Add some liquid to thin it out. You're always trying to use the same containers that your sauce were previously in to extract as much flavor as possible. Gently incorporate it because I just filled my cast iron pretty full. But now it's like a perfect tomato sauce. I'm going to turn off the heat now. This is what I made before. I have like a 3.5 pound chuck roast I broke down, and at this point I have like maybe a quart of sauce. Gently. And the same thing I did to deglaze the beef aspect of the skillet. I can get a little bit more flavor with some more alcohol with that sauce. Also, get more opportunities to add some rummy flavor to my barbacoa. Also, deglazing helps clean your skillet, especially cast iron, which can be difficult to clean. Let me take a look. Nothing's really stuck to the bottom of this after this is seared off meat for a couple minutes. And I had a somewhat sugary tomato pepper sauce going in here. Very little is stuck in the bottom of my skillet. Right. Oh yeah. Oh. Got a little bit of a kick? Alright. Then I'm just going to add a couple cloves. Oh, about a dozen or so. You also want to be careful with clove. I'm actually going to pick a few out when I thought about that. What I was going to say is I'm going to only add in like 6 cloves. Cloves in overabundance will make your food way too bitter. And a couple bay leaves, a good measure. Oh, where'd you go, buddy? And that's going to go in for 8 to 10 hours. And I will be back with y'all. And I'll be back with y'all with the final product when I get back home from work. Bye. Hey everyone. Well, it's time to show the finished product. This has been in the crock pot for about 10 hours. There's a nice layer of fat on top, which I'm going to skim off because I'm going to use this remaining sauce as like a little salsa for this plate. And now just dress it up and keep the meat moist by mixing it back into the meat as I shred it. So right now I'm going to fish out a piece of meat. I have like 4 big pieces. A good sign is as you pick it out of your crock pot, it falls apart in that process. It's spilling everywhere. Hold on. Anyways. There we go. And as I was showing with that pulled chicken video, your meat is good when you can tear it apart with minimal effort. Now I'm going to be fishing fat out here for a couple pieces. But other than that, you're just going to gently pull it apart. I'm going to repeat. And then I'm going to skim the fat off the top of this pot. Get that beautiful sauce underneath. There's other fish from my other pieces. And then when you, for the sauce aspect, you're going to make sure you take out parts like the clove and the bay leaves. All right, that's the big piece I had earlier. And luckily, this one was, splatter. That's a risk you get trying to fish out meat from your crock pot. That's a big piece of connective tissue. There's a little bit of meat. Otherwise, you're going to lose this. And that is about that. Now I will be back to show you the my process for making guacamole and the chili lumbre sprouts. All right, and I'll see y'all later.